This is Shanda On Demand. For you guys who are brand new, I just want to say hello to you. If you're brand new to Shanda On Demand, say new. Put new in the chat. If you're brand new to Shanda On Demand, put new in the chat. I love to see new people, and I also love to see you light up the chats. In fact, it's almost Christmas. Yes, I know my son keeps telling me it's almost Halloween, and I'm like, no, 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 it's almost Christmas. I'm walking around going, it's almost Christmas. It's the only time I sing is about Christmas. So I am winding down the year. I'm not kidding you. I'm already buying Christmas presents. I bought my first two Christmas presents, and I am already thinking about 2025. I've already built out all of my leadership trainings for 2025. I didn't, somebody on the team did. And then I'm building out my live events for next year from my business side. And I share this with you because I've been deep in the assessment of looking at what really have I learned to this point. And I've had some great mentors in my life that have really taught me like just the difference in setting goals and setting character advancements. And I'll tell you the difference between both of these. But I'll tell you that I hope that today's live is going to be instrumental in your life, because I really narrowed down 4 things that if I was to start all over again, and it's like I'm going to start all over again and start from fresh. I was going to go all the way back. Have you guys ever thought about that? If you were to reverse engineer your life and go all the way back, what really are the biggest lessons that you've learned? So I'm gonna fine tune this a little bit more towards business. And the 4 things that really stood out to me, that if I would have really got this and stopped being distracted on other things, that I really think that my business and my life would have grown a little bit faster and probably with some less stress. Is that helpful? Yes, 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 yes. Because I don't know about you, but it's really easy to spin and feel like you have to learn a lot of different things. How many of you guys watched Shanda On Demand last week when I talked about the different platforms? Any of you guys watch it? I'm just curious, how many of you guys have applied it? For real, like how many of you guys have applied last week's training? How many of you guys have applied last week's training? Any of you guys? Put yes if you have, no if you haven't. Okay, put yes if you have, no if you haven't. Esteban, that's awesome. June, awesome. Awesome, Christine. Anybody else? Yes, Trisha, so good. Okay, so I'm going to start this with a story. I have a really good friend of mine. He's made a lot of money in crypto, ton of money in crypto. Kind of when crypto was just getting started, he got into it, and he was one of the people who saw the vision. And scripture says, my people will perish without a vision, right? So whether or not you like scripture or not, you could pan out every great advice to the fact that you have to see it. And if you can see it and feel it, and I don't mean law of attraction, like feeling into the end, I don't mean like that. I mean, see it and feel it means that you actually can place yourself, you can put yourself in that marriage, in that body, in that income bracket, in that house. Or for me, I really want to create a vacation of a lifetime. And I have a huge vision to have 6 of my friends, like 6 couple friends that are married, and to rent a ridiculous catamaran and to go through like Italy or Greece or something like that. Does that make sense? Like that's like a bucket list. So I can feel it. Like I can literally see myself on that catamaran. I'm like, my husband and I are so in love with each other. Like, it's like, I can like create the most incredible idea in my head. And so what that tells me is that every day that I let go by, that I don't book that, it's really kind of like, what am I building? Do you know what I mean? Like when we all lay our head down to say goodbye to this earth and hopefully go to heaven, when we do that moment, when that moment comes, I mean, I always say, unless you love to cook, I love to bake. I'll remember baking with my son. I have no interest in scrubbing the floors. I have no interest in scrubbing the toilet, because I will never remember that. I just had a conversation with Ryan, my handyman, about my hole in my wall, right? And I said, I said, my husband and I really like the way we cook more than we like the way other people cook. And I said, but it's not about how we feel. I said, if I start cooking and my husband starts cooking, unless we're doing it as a family moment to create a memory, that means that like I don't have this, in my world. I have the same amount of time you do running two companies, staying in shape, working out with my trainer 3 or 4 times a week, staying in shape, running two companies, being accessible in my calendar. My calendar is not back to back. Okay. Like my calendar has big spots in it to think and to be able to be available for team members and clients. Does that make sense? You guys follow me here? So if I start cooking and cleaning, truly something has to give. And what do you think is going to give? Either my marriage, my son, or my working out. So I don't even touch the cook thing. Does that make sense? I made pancakes yesterday morning. It was awesome. It was fun. Everybody had to leave it to be for a moment with mommy, right? But I would rather sit with them and play Uno, go create a picnic and sit on the ocean front and talk and listen to Andre Bocelli or some gospel music. I have no interest in getting to the end of my life and going, I didn't learn my lessons. So I'm going to give you 4 lessons that have been very profitable. And they have helped grow the business, and they've also helped keep me in front, because as I've hired virtual assistants and then employees and then people to run my company, everybody has an idea about how to do it better. Does that make sense? Like, especially clients and customers, they always have the idea on how to do it better, right? And I share this with you in a respectful way, because you have to know what's important to you so that you put the guardrails on. Does that make sense? So the sake of this live, what was important to me when I built this company was not missing my life and not resenting my life and not resenting my business. And I never wanted to be the entrepreneur that burnt out. Okay. And I've come close to it before. And I came close to it because I hit a really hard, path, a really hard dirt road at one point, and I didn't know how to fix it. Okay. And the reason why I didn't know how to fix it is I wasn't thinking the way I'm going to tell you to think today. So I put notes here so I don't forget. I really thought about this, and so I don't waste your time on today's live. Okay. So number 1, when it comes to business, the smartest thing I did at the very beginning that brought me a lot of financial freedom is I picked a product. So I picked a product and I call it a base product. Okay, so somebody write base in the chat or base product in the chat, so people watching start to kind of somebody be the note taker. Okay, put base product in the chat. I love my note takers because they're giving, they're thinking about other people. So what's a base product? A base product doesn't matter if if I'm in real estate. I did over $100 million in real estate sales in less than 2 years, in 15 months. Still don't know how to write a real estate contract. And I failed the real estate test multiple times before I got it. Okay. So I want to get a life insurance, license. And I'm telling you, I'm so intimidated by it because I failed the real estate license so many times. Okay. So that's who's standing in front of you right now. And so when you look at a base product, whether it was in real estate, whether it was when I ran nightclubs in Las Vegas, I took a dying nightclub at the Venetian Hotel, and inside of less than 2 months, I turned that around where we had 3 booming nights out of 7 that took that nightclub and put it on the map in Las Vegas. Those are the 3 nights of the week that you should be going to. Okay, for our nightclub. Nobody was in there. You could have put 5 people holding each other's feet and swung around and you wouldn't have hit somebody. That's what I took over. Okay, didn't understand pour costs. What am I trying to get you to understand? That you don't need to understand. You must take action. Okay, you don't need to understand all the details. If you need to understand all the details, you are growing too slow. And it's a lack of courage, not a lack of knowledge. Okay, so for somebody that you needed to write that down, like a big sticky on the wall, have courage, make decisions fast. I don't need to know all the information. I just need to know where I'm going. Okay, so a base product in any industry, in the coaching product, for me being here helping people in business, I got up on stages. I never came up with this idea to teach list building to people. If you don't know me very well, I'd start people in list building. Because if you have no clients, you have no customers, you have no business. It's irrelevant how much money you throw at it. If you don't have a list, you have a very hard time creating income. Okay, even when I'm building out my social platforms right now to the next level, I have a list. I mean, I just hired a team to come on. I invested $25,000 as an onboarding to go on, and I'm paying $3,000 a month. Okay. And why did I invest that? Because it's a who, not a how. I don't need to know how. It's a who. Okay. Like I'm going to get to that in a second. But when I onboarded them, it's like, you know what they on the onboarding video for expectations is you are responsible for running traffic. Yeah. Because I don't care who you hire in business. They need you to be able to run traffic. And people think you can build a client buyers list with the shittiest message on the planet and still make money. That's why I started there. So what's your base product? Okay, so now I'm going to ask you right now, how many guys actually wrote down your base product right now? Right? You don't have to call yourself out if it's no, but you're still needing too much information. Get out of your head and listening to me and jot down some stuff. So the key for today is to, when I prompt you through, this is the first one, I'm going to give you 3 more. When I prompt you, write something down, make a decision. Okay. So how many of you guys need to know how to build email lists and text message lists? Put the word list in the chat. And somebody on our team should reach out to you because you need to talk to us. We do that, we do it well, and we specialize in it. Okay. And so, but the only reason why I came up with that base product is because as I was building my own company, I was figuring out my messaging, I was doing all the stuff, and I was going to create this membership site with all these different experts, and everybody was going to win working together in partnership. But like, I had no people. So the whole thing fell apart. So there was nowhere I could turn to get people other than to get out of my house and be away from my family and go on the speaking circuit. And some of you guys like the speaking circuit. I don't. I love being on a stage now. I hated it when I started this company. Okay, so I said to Ash, we had a date night last night, kind of a sidetrack, but I said, I actually think the door to freedom might be doing the thing you don't want to do. Actually, my exact words are doing the thing that feels the hardest. It's almost like get rid of everything that feels easy and just do the thing that feels the hardest because it's just a decision on it. And I was like, I actually have created the most freedom, like going out and speaking, but I didn't want to speak, right? Literally getting in front of the platform. I never wanted to be an influencer. In fact, if you call me an influencer, I laugh because I'm like, I'm not an influencer. I don't feel like a creator, but that's what the world is calling me now. If you have a social platform, and I just hired this team that's going to blow up my social platforms, and you're going to see it, right? They're a who that I hired. I talked all about that last week, and I'm executing. So you guys who come to Shanda On Demand, you're going to continue. This thing builds together because you're going to grow faith in seeing me succeed at things. You might not invest 25,000, or maybe you would. My friend Isabel Price convinced her husband to remortgage the house, and she spent $100,000 in 30 days to grow a platform on a video sales letter. And if you know anything about video sales letters, they typically fail before they win. And he backed her. How big's the courage? Well, I've failed in the past. I don't have anything. Lines of credit, borrow, raise capital. A lot easier to grow on somebody else's cash than it is on your own. Yours is very limited. Everybody's is. Whole nother training, okay? But if you're afraid, you won't make those decisions. If I gave you a working funnel right now, and the funnel, if you put in $10 and you made $15, well, that's where you go get more money because you're in the profit. Does that make sense? And that's how you have to break down the hard decisions into the easy decisions so you can get moving. So number 1 is pick a base product. I picked list building. Okay, I do much more than just list building, but that's the base product. Everything I sell predominantly out there is list building. What's starting to really percolate with over 4,000 people doing my leadership program is people still fail if they don't have good leadership. It just is. It's becoming blatantly clear because I know my model works. I've had over 21,000 people do my model, and I have more success stories than I have failures. But yet, why are there still failures, or why are there still people who are disappointed? Because they couldn't execute either fast enough, make a decision fast enough. They weren't connected to, the model of what they were doing. And so they failed. And many of them quit at that failure. Okay. And so what I'm realizing is my base product really needs to be leadership, which is, yeah, you're right, Helmut. It's the key to life working. And so it's the key, is the key to like people getting along with different value systems and different belief systems. It's the key to not being triggered. It's the key to not quitting on yourself. It's the key to not being overwhelmed. It's the key to dealing with a frustrating situation, being able to neutralize your anger and still be able to finish the conversation, get to a resolution. That's leadership. That's everything we touch. So I'm currently flipping our company over to a base product of leadership. You got it? So what am I demonstrating? You don't have to get it right. You're going to evolve. But the key for this to work is you need to make a decision on what's your base product today. Did everybody write a base product down? Put yes or no. Did everybody write? And I really want to know, like, I'm not going to judge you. Yes or no, did you write a base product down? Yes or no. It tells me if I'm being effective as a coach in front of you right now. Okay. If I got a bunch of no's, I'm okay with that. It just means I need to go do some more work on that with you. Okay. Number 2 lesson. Do math money. Do math money. Okay, math money is, I want you to write down, how much money do you want to make in a month? Okay, do you know when I hire key leaders, I look to see if before I get off the phone with them, they say, Shanda, what would the next 30 and 60 days look like as success working with you? Why do I want that? Because in order to get something underneath you working, you need to think in increments of 30 and 60, 30 and 60, 30 and 60. So do the math. What's the amount of money you want to make in a month? Okay, so, and please don't say I want to make $2 million a month when you haven't made 5,000, right? Just pick a number. What's the number that you want to make in the next 30 days and then the next 60 days? Okay, so I have a number of what I want to make in a month, but like, there's where I am and there's where I want to be. So the next 30 and 60 days, where do I want to be? Right? Go in the chat, write that down, but also write it down on a piece of paper. Also write it down on a piece of paper. Okay. Now you need to ask yourself, do you want that to be reoccurring? If so, you either need to have a sales force that sells a standalone product that can do that all the time and a consistent lead source, or you need to sell something once or twice a year that has a reoccurring order to it. Okay, so almost everything I sell has a reoccurring order to it, right? Unless somebody pays in full for the year. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, so make a decision right now. What do you want? Do you want a reoccurring order? Do you want a sales team that you just focus on leads and they sell a $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $3,000 product a month? What do you want? Right? Next 30, 60 days. And what's the model? Okay. So make a decision, put it down on a piece of paper. Because there's too many open loops, and the open loops slow us down. Once you make a decision, the key is to have that work is you make that decision right. You say, I'm going to work on this for the next year, only this for the next year. It gets rid of all the distractions. You don't have to worry about like spinning. You will literally just, I'm telling you, you will find that your calendar opens up, which means you can think. So if I'm sitting in my office and I'm like, I need more leads, I need more leads, I need more leads. That's always what I'm saying, by the way. I'm always like, I need more leads. And then what happened was recently I was like, I don't want to generate the leads all the time. I need another who. And it's not a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. Okay, so I'm very inspired by Sarah Blakely. She used to own Spanx, now she owns Sneaks, right? She sold Spanx, had a huge cash injection in her life, and now started Sneaks. Notice how authentic she is. She started with women's empowerment, and Sneaks, her new product, is women's empowerment in shoes. It's sneaker heels that are $500, right? And so she went from a product that was cheap to a product that's expensive. Same avatar empowering a woman. Does that make sense? But when she started Spank, she was in a different mindset, different income bracket. And when she started Sneak, she's in a different mindset, different income bracket. But same through line in her character. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, right? That's a compound effect. Who do you think follows her? Women's empowerment. Does that make sense, you guys? So she can keep launching things, and she's got a wake in her character. She's been consistent. She's been honest. One of the big leadership traits that I teach people is be honest about who you are. If I'm Christian and you're gay, be okay with that. You don't need approval from me, and I don't need approval from you. Do you know what I mean? If you're Muslim and I'm Christian, like, can we just get along? Like, if you're Jewish or Catholic, we always joke about Catholic condemning, right? Like, it's like, let's stop being so sensitive to people's belief systems and value systems and just honor each other, that we have different belief systems and honor systems. Because if we all become completely inclusive, my friends, guess what happens? You ain't making any money. Because you need different value systems and different, like, people don't see the end game on some of this stuff, right? Like, we need to speak up. We need to not be afraid, and we need to create space for people to be able to have value systems. Because if we don't have our people, we don't have our tribes, we have just a fake facade of pretending, which is not going to help any of us out from getting ahead in the world. Does that make sense? Like, you need to find your people, I need to find my people, and we need to create an atmosphere that's safe to talk, not a cancel, I hate you because you like Biden or Trump, or you vax or you don't. Like, come on, guys. Like, we got some more maturity than this, right? So, okay, so the second thing is do the math. So the math is how much money do you want to make? And then what do you need to sell at? Instead of asking yourself what you think you can sell at, what do you need to sell at to hit that monthly, right? And you start adjusting that price. This is what is crazy when people want to know about packaging and pricing. Make it up. Make it up. Like, I was laughing at my husband. I was like, there's hydration products that are really expensive. There's hydration products that are super cheap, right? Like, he can match Liquid IV and exit at billions of dollars, but it's a crap product. Do you know what I mean? Or he can create a good product with lower profit margins, right? That actually supplements you with proper hydration, proper focus, proper vitamin D. You guys get what I'm saying? And it's a conversation. Stood in my kitchen with him the other day. I said, what's your value system? Because he can do both. He has the education for both. I go, what's your value system? He goes, do you think I should just, like, cut it? It would be so much easier to compete if I could just cut the price and just make it a shit product. I'm like, what's your value system? Because they're both honorable. Like, they really are, you guys. Like, people go drink Liquid IV, you know what I mean? And I used to drink Element, right? And it's not set up to help you win, right? But it's cheap product, right? But we drink it. And so, you get what I'm saying? So what's your value system? Don't ask yourself, what do I like? Reverse engineer the math, and what's your value system with the quality of the product? Okay. Number three is money loves speed. So if you're stuck, who's stuck right now? Put an S in the chat. Anybody stuck right now? Put an S in the chat. Okay, so I want you to write down, where are you stuck? Let's be valuable right now. Let's create a tangible result right now. Where are you stuck? Go in the chat and let me know, because I'd actually love to see. Where are you stuck? A clear offer. Leads are not converting. Implementation. Stuck in marketing. So much to do. Hopefully this live helps you if you got so much to do, because you can just get rid of the distraction. Okay, leads, web page, monetizing leads. Okay, so there's quite a few of you guys who are in a conversation of either leads or converting leads, like leads actually monetizing. This isn't part of this live, but I'll bring it next week, okay? I'll give you a little hint on that so you don't have to wait. Okay, so If you have leads and they're not monetizing, it might need that connection is currency. You might need to connect more often. Connect on a daily tip, a daily lesson, a Zoom, a training. You need to connect. Like I have a training this Thursday. I'm going to show you something. This is how much I track what I'm doing. Okay. See if I can show you this page real quick without showing you. Let me see here if I can show this to you. Is this good, you guys? Is this helping? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes? Okay, good. So when I show you this page, I'm going to do it really fast because there's people's contacts on it, okay? So when I show you this page, if I go right down to the bottom, these are all the opt-ins that are coming in for my Thursday event. So there's 945 of them right now, okay? And so I'm closing the gap and I want to hit 3,000. Okay, that's what I want to hit. So if I have leads that don't monetize, it's because they don't understand if they should buy from you. Does that make sense? Like we have to be clear to buy. You know what I mean? Like when when Carla, my stylist, says to me, Shanda, like you're wearing the same earrings all the time on Shanda On Demand. Like if you want to grow the platforms, I need you to be more interesting with some of your makeup or your hair or your earrings. I mean, like honestly, you guys, like I could go, are you serious? But the data shows the truth. If I get dressed and I change out the way I look, it has a higher conversion rate. Like people stay connected. It's not a Shandaism, it's what the platform, the job needs. So I get to do what the people say they want, you've got to do. Does that make sense? Like it's not about what I want to do. I never wanted to speak. I never wanted to go live. I never wanted to do any of that. Right? But when I became giving and loving and caring, and I stopped going, this is what I feel like, this is my truth. And I started going, okay, what does the data say? What do people say they want? They want to be inspired. They want, so, Carla goes, here's all the earrings that I'm going to start buying you, or here, and she doesn't go and buy cheap ones. She gets high level costume jewelry, so nobody has it. Does that make sense? And so it's not all gold, but but they're high level costume jewelry. And I got a bunch more that are about to come in, right? If any of you guys need to talk to my stylist, she's amazing. Her name's Carla. Put Carla in the chat and my team will get you her information. Okay. Put Carla in the chat and my team will give you her information. Okay. So I don't make any money off Carla, but I've seen the difference between people's pages, the registration pages and things like that jumping. And yes, she also knows how to work on a budget. Okay. So she completely transformed our brand. Okay. Which was a lot cheaper than actually buying a brander. Just our pictures made a huge difference. You can also email Keith, Keith, is it Keith? Somebody put this in the chat, Keith@heartcorebusiness.com. You can email Keith@heartcorebusiness.com and he can connect you with Carla. Again, full transparency. I'm not getting paid for it. I am what's called a level 4 leader, which means if there's something that's worked for me, I don't have to get a cut of it to succeed. Does that make sense? If you're a male or a female and you need Carla, go email Keith@heartcorebusiness.com. Tell him I want to connect with Carla, Shanda Stylist, and they will connect you with her. Okay, sound good? She'll kill me if I just put out her personal cell phone number and email. I've done stuff like that before and she's like, Shanda, don't do that. Okay, so he'll connect you with her. Okay, so so money loves speed. So if you're stuck, you have a decision to make today. So write down where you're stuck, leads, monetization, whatever. You have to make a decision. So I have thinking time. I recommend you have it. Even if you go for a walk, you just go, okay, I'm going to solve this problem. I have a leads problem. Well, it's impossible to believe that there is a limitation of people because based on what we've been told, we are overpopulated everywhere. So you need to stop the craziness in your head. Right? And so there is a who that understands how to get you more leads. I'm one of them, but there's many other, right? And so you need to get close to a who to know how to do it. And the question is, do you want to know how to do it, or do you want to pay somebody to do it for you? And that's a you decision, not a me decision. That's a you decision, right? Do you want somebody to do it for you? Or, you know what? I don't know if I want to. You could also email Keith. I hope he's on this live and knows what the heck I'm doing right now. You could all,
I'm
this
here.
is me. Okay. So you could also email Keith at hardcorebusiness.com if you want somebody to build an email list for you. I mean, you'll have to invest in it, email and text, but I will take 10 people and build out your email list for you. Email Keith and let him know that you would like to be one of the 10 people to have us build out your email and text message, which means done for you. We'll do it for you. Email Keith. So I want to be one of the 10 people, Keith at hardcorebusiness.com, and we will do it for you. We will build out a warm, influenced email list for you. Sound good? Yes? So we can talk about the details on there. Keith will connect with me after this live. Keith at hardcorebusiness.com. So wherever you're stuck, if you're stuck in you can't monetize the leads, you're just not talking to them enough. Okay? And stop marketing and start just hooking people up, right? Like just literally stop marketing. I was the worst marketer on the planet, and I made the most amount of money because of just helping people. Okay? So the more marketing you get, it's like the harder it is for somebody to say yes to you. So just help people. Just give away your stuff for free. You know what I mean? Like give advice, give your stuff away, be generous. And you will find that your list will optimize. They will know that you're the person to hire. Sound good? Yes? Yes? Okay. So the fourth thing, so number one was pick a base product. Number two was do the math to figure out your monthly income. What do you have to sell at? Just do the math. Make it unemotional. Okay. Number three is wherever you're stuck, you're not creating thinking time because you already know how to solve it. I guarantee you, it's either you want to learn how to solve it or you want somebody to do it for you. Okay. You can find people to do it for you. There's hiremypeople.com. There's Upwork. There's hiremymom.com. There are people, there are agencies out there. Do you get what I'm saying? So you're either going to hire somebody to do it for you, or you're going to learn yourself. You pick. But there's no reason to be stuck. You know how to solve this problem because you know what you want. And there's somebody who knows how to do what you want, and there's somebody who will teach you how to do what you want. You make the decision on what you want. Do you want the education or do you want the result? Okay. The fourth thing and the last thing for today is you need to really get clear about what you need versus being reactional. Okay, so I'll take you through a quick exercise. So think about right now your monthly income of what you want. And ask yourself the question, what do I need in order to hit that? That becomes your obsession. Like that becomes the oversized Post-it note on the wall. That becomes the message to yourself on your mirror. I have a message on my mirror in my bathroom. I have a message on my whiteboard in front of me, right? I have a message on my fridge. All the same message. Why? Because I need to enhance my obsession again. I've noticed that, I'm a little bit comfortable because I have quite the team. Does that make sense? And so, but if I'm not on my edge, what do you think happens to the team? They don't stay on their edge the same way. They become a product of the leader. Does that make sense? So that's my very complicated way of reminding myself, because I know I can get up in the morning, get ready, get inspired, listen to an audiobook, and then all of a sudden I'm over here working on this when I need to be working on this, because this feels more exciting. But the truth is when you solve the thing you know you need to solve to make the income that you want, it really is one main thing. And if it's two, focus on what's the more important of the two and be obsessed with it. I bet you could probably solve it by tomorrow or the next day. Okay, so now you go back to the third step about where you're stuck. Do you want to learn it yourself and know how to do it? Or do you want to get a who to do it for you? Does that make sense? And so obviously there's complications in that. Maybe you can't pay for a who. Well, you could pay for a who if you knew that that step was going to generate income in the next 30 or 60 days. You would be a lot more courageous. But because we don't break down the steps like this, it becomes scary to grow and we grow too slow. Was this helpful today, y'all? Yes, no, maybe so. If you take these 4 steps, it really comes down to that framework. You could keep reverse engineering this, like you could put these 4 steps on the wall, right? So I know what my base product is. I ran with the same base product forever, made millions and millions and millions of dollars. I don't say that to brag or boast. I say that because I kept it simple. Simple works, right? Now I'm flipping my base product over, right? That it was just an aha moment. If people don't have leadership and don't continue to grow in their leadership, they don't get unstuck fast enough. Do you know what I mean? They sit in stuckness, right? So pick your base product. Once you've picked your base product you're selling, the rest of it, 2 through 4, is what you operate. Reverse engineer the math. How much money do you want to make? Do you need to raise your price, reduce your price? Do you want more volume? Do you want more? What is it? Right? You play with it. Number 3 is every single time I'm stuck, I need to create space for a minute. And so I actually have space built into my calendar, white space, so I can think. But that advice never helped me. The advice that helped me was, Shanda, every time you're stuck, go for a walk. And on that walk, obsess. I could actually hold that framework. Obsess over the problem and how do you solve it? What I realized is spent a lot of years learning how to do stuff. And that was a big mistake. I should have been hiring who, because when I grew this company, the first million, I hired a virtual assistant. And I obsessed with that virtual assistant and I over communicated with that virtual assistant, not by telling her what to do, but giving her updates on what I wanted, like the end of day, like result to look like, or the end of week goal. I over communicated my goals and I tracked my goals with her. And that's how I crossed $1 million. Does that make sense? It wasn't like dictating. It was, in fact, the more I put hours on her plate, the more I'd have to pay. It was more about holding myself accountable and not being in it alone. And that's how I crossed $1 million. Then I took over the driving wheel. I was like, I want to know how to do all this stuff. And that slowed me down. So it's a big lesson for me, and I hope I can transfer it to you, that the minute you know your base product, it is a leads and sales problem or solution for a long time, until your company is making whatever amount of millions of dollars it's making before it starts getting more complicated. You need a business manager, or you need project managers, or you want somebody else to run it. That's the trajectory. The last thing is know what you need. If this is my reverse engineer for math, I just need to, you already know what you need. If this is what you want to hit, you already know what you need to be able to hit that. How to do it or who's doing it for me. That's the only decision left. Make sense? And the faster you make these decisions, the faster you have your peace back, because your peace comes from making a decision. That's the best part about it. When you make a decision, all of a sudden you're like, I feel so good. Nothing has to change, but the fact that you made a decision, it is an immediate bandwidth growth. Does that make sense? Yes? All right, you guys, let me know in the chat, what was the number one thing that stood out for you that really, really helped today? You guys on Instagram, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys right now. God bless. Let me know what stood out to you. And for everybody else here on Zoom, I'm going to stay with you on YouTube and Facebook and all of those wonderful places and platforms. Thank you for tuning in to Shanda On Demand. You guys on the Zoom, I'm going to come to you next and just do some questions with you guys. If you need a coach, whether it's leadership or business, leadership is I need to get out of my own way, or business, I need strategy, I need a plan, I need to know how to reverse engineer my money. Put the word coach in the chat right now. Put the word coach in the chat, and somebody on our team will reach out to you and talk to you about what we can do to help you, or who we know that could possibly help you. So put the word coach in the chat. So if you need a leadership coach, which is like, I need to get out of my own way. It doesn't matter who I hire, what I do. I can't either lead them or get the result that I want or think clearly. That's leadership. I'm a leadership coach, right? And you got to fix that. You got to fix the foundation to be able to grow on. Okay, so that you're coachable, you can take it, and you don't hold back because of fear. Business is like, I need to reverse engineer my money. I need to really get clear on a base level product. I want to know what are my sales and lead strategies. If you're meant to be live, go inside the Facebook group and ask in there, right? But everybody else, write the word coach and we will help you. Okay, somebody will reach out to you. Check your inboxes. All right, so